All right, we are live. I got a great show for you today. I got a great guest too. One of the guests today, or the guest today, his name is Gonzi, or his full name is Gonzalo, but we call him Gonzi. He is part of our group, Rags to Riches. He's a member. He went through the 90-day build program, and I'm going to let him tell you about whatever success he's experiencing, maybe some challenges he's faced, how he got through them, and I'm going to ask him some questions about his revenue so we can get a really honest take on what's going on. I think he's been in business now about 45 to 60, maybe at least 60 days. He's been actually doing business, maybe even longer. I'll let him tell you. But you'll hear from him for in a bit. And before I get to Gonzi, I want to say today I'm going to be talking about the best remote cleaning business courses in 2026. And this is an honest breakdown of the top programs. I'm going to name them. I'm going to name the people behind them. I'm not going to take any shots at anybody or anything like that. I'm just going to do an honest breakdown about my opinion of the courses that are out there, the pros and cons, what I'm thinking about them. And that way, if anybody's interested in joining one of these programs, they know which one might be the best fit for them or which ones that might have more value, which ones to stay away from, things like that. I'm going to boldly go where no remote cleaning business guru has gone before. I'm going to give you everything. I'm going to give you the real deal here. I know some of the other creators aren't going to like it, and that's fine. But it is what it is, and I'm just going to put it all out in the open, and everybody can form their own opinions based on some of the feedback I have and whatever information you can find online. But again, today's topic is the best remote cleaning business courses in 2026. It's an honest breakdown of the top programs. We have a really good guest coming at you today in a few minutes here. And for those of you that are new to the show, that don't know me yet, I am John Margalit. I'm the founder of Happy Home Helpers. It's a 7-figure remote cleaning business here in Las Vegas. I made over 1.5 million last year in 2025. And this year in 2026, I'll be well over 2 million. And this is only my 4th year in business. So it's relatively fast. I'm also the creator of Rags to Riches University, where I teach aspiring entrepreneurs and cleaning business owners how to start and grow profitable cleaning business using my proven sales and marketing systems. Everything I teach is so that you can run the business remotely from your phone or laptop. I previously led sales for a tech startup on Wall Street that scaled to nine-figure exit. And it's where I fine-tune high-performing sales teams and customer acquisition systems. That's why I bring a whole new approach to this industry. And it's something that you can't find anywhere else because this is proprietary. And I got to develop everything I know under a really, really interesting, smart group of people that taught me a lot of things before I came here. I've been featured in Entrepreneur Magazine and Yahoo Finance, and my cleaning business was most recently named the best cleaning service in Las Vegas by City Council. Everybody loves the proof check. I'm going to get to some of that in a minute here. And part of the show, I don't do this to flex. I only do this because I think that if somebody is claiming to be an expert in something, they should be able to prove it. And so I'm going to do that real quick for you. And then I have a short opening I want to talk about to introduce you to the show. And then we're going to have Gonzi on. We're going to ask him some questions. The audience can be free to ask Gonzi questions as well. We'll bring them up in a minute. If you want to be a guest of the show, please DM me on Instagram at John Margalit. You can find me on all platforms at John Margalit. If you haven't followed me yet, if you haven't liked the show, give it a like, a subscribe, a follow, all the things right now before we get started. And also be sure to follow me on TikTok, because I'm trying to break that 1,000 mark barrier so I can get the TikTok Creator Studio. I just started on TikTok building a following there, and I would really appreciate it if you could go give me a follow. That'd be great. Best place to watch the show is on YouTube, because that way you can comment. Please engage, ask any questions you want. I always look over at all the comments. I try to answer all the questions very quickly. If you want to be a guest on the show, you can come up, you can be on stage. If you have the camera on, it's more fun. But if you don't want to have the camera on, it's no big deal. I know some people are a little camera shy, and that's okay. But I would love to have a conversation with you, help give you some clarity and answers, or anything that you want to talk about with me, feel free. All right, so let's move over to the proof section real quick. I'm going to share my screen like I always do. And then I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to log into Jobber in real time, as you can see here. Please let me know in the comments if you can see my screen. That'd be great. Annette's here. Hey, Annette, good to see you as always. I see Eddie Ayala here. I see Scott Taylor. These are people in the program. Eddie will be soon. Scott is in the program. Lindsay's here. Lindsay, hello. She's in the program as well. And now you can see my screen. Great. All right, here we go. I'm going to log in here in real time. I'm really caffeinated today. I'm sure you could feel that energy. And I'm going to go right to the reports tab because that is the best tell. And then I'm going to come up here to transactions. So I'm going to click on that. And then by default, they show the last 30 days. If anybody's curious what that looks like, we can look at that 134,564. And usually we're somewhere between there and 150. But remember, this is credit cards only. We get a lot of checks, cash, and Zelle payments. I actually prefer Zelle, and I really push people to Zelle because I don't have to pay a payment processing fee on that, and it hits the account right away. So if we go to a custom range, we left off on Friday. I think when we first started the day, when we checked, we were only maybe at $1,000 or so. So let's just go back real quick and check on Friday the 13th. Ooh, spooky. Friday the 13th of March. Let's filter it. It was a slow day, but we still did $5,220. And that, again, this is only credit cards. I know we broke 6,000 between the other payment forms. And then over the weekend, I think it was also a little bit slow. I always say that. I always like to say it's slow. The 14th, let's check it out. Probably not as solid. Only $2,800. Very low day for us, $2,739. And then let's check out Sunday, the 15th. And only 33.20. All right. So again, not very good over the weekend, but it was a little bit slow. And we'll check back later on today's revenue. I also want to share my entire screen because I want to show you something here. I'm going to stop this screen share and I'm going to do one more screen share for you. I'm going to go the entire screen and I'm going to show you my 1099 income statement from 2025, the most recent. I blacked out my my address and some other things that way nobody can stalk me. And but this is Octopus App Inc. is actually the official name of Jobber's umbrella company. And so that's the payment processor that we go through is Jobber. They connect with Stripe. And you can see here very clearly that I made $1,552,589.80. This is my real 1099 for 2025. Just showing you everything, showing you all the proof, laying it all out there. And I want everybody to see that and just to take note that, you know, this is what people should be able to show you and prove if they claim to be an expert. All right, moving on. If you want me to help you start or grow your cleaning business, there's two ways you can do that. One is the Remote Cleaning CEO Accelerator. This is the operating system, the training, and weekly group coaching. You get everything. This is for the person who wants clarity, accountability, and a proven blueprint. And then you get access to the online community and the Discord. We have a good time and everybody helps each other. It's a really active, vibrant community. And it's a lot of support in there. Since we're all going through the same thing, we're all like-minded, going through the same journey, pretty much at the same spots. And then the Founder Intensive, it's a 90-day private build program. This is hands-on. You get everything in the Remote Cleaning CEO Accelerator, but we work closely together to build the business correctly from day one. You don't just get information, you get implementation, and my favorite word, precision, because I feel like me and my team surgically go in there and build the business for you and with you. And so if you're serious, you can apply. I only work with people who are ready to execute. In order to apply, you have to send me an email, jon@johnmargalit.com. Again, that's john@johnmargalit.com. No H or it'll bounce back to you, just JON. If you email me that you would like to apply, I will respond with a 12 to 15 question application that you got to fill out. And if you qualify, we can start working together. And I would be really excited to help you with that. There, it's up on the screen. Thank you, Taj. I always begin the show the same way. And before we dive into the topic, it's important for me to tell everybody why I'm here. I am here for the people who feel stuck in a job or any situation that they can't stand anymore. People that are tired of trading their time for a paycheck, tired of building someone else's dream, tired of feeling like they don't have any real options. I've been exactly where you are, and I built my way out of it with a very simple remote cleaning business. And now my goal is to help you do the same thing. This isn't just about potentially starting a business. It's also about what the experience of being truly free does to you and how you can become a different kind of person. the transformation is really unreal that I see in people in the program. People have more confidence, more clarity, more decisiveness, more capabilities, and most of all, they become so much more resilient, not to mention the income. So you can create real financial freedom and real time freedom in your life if you pursue this journey and you do it correctly. I always share my honest ideas and perspectives, simple frameworks about mindset, sales, marketing, decision making, and problem solving, because these are the things that you actually need to think and act like somebody who can build their own future. And just as important as the tactics, I want this show to be a daily reminder that transformation is possible and that you're not crazy for wanting more. And you're not alone in the journey. We're all here today. Hey, Rick, good to have you. Good to see you again. We just talked on the phone earlier. He's in the program. And because real transformation always starts with the decision, we begin every show with the same question. If you don't change anything, if you just keep doing exactly what you're doing, you will very likely be in the same place 1, 2, and I know it's scary, maybe even 5 years from now, feeling the same frustration, the same lack of control, and the same resentment toward your job or whatever situation you're in. But, man, it's a big but. If you committed to transforming your life, and I'm talking about really committed, 2 feet in, no looking back, burning the boats, there's a real chance that in less than 5 years, you got to be patient, you could be exactly where you want to be. So here's the real question I have. What hurts more? You need to be honest with yourself. You're going to have to go through some pain. But what hurts more? Continuing to endure a job or situation you hate or that you know is a dead end, or enduring the discomfort, the temporary discomfort of pursuing freedom and building something of your own? Because here's the truth most people avoid. The pain of staying the same has no upside. It just repeats. But the pain of trying to change, of building, of learning, of failing and trying again, it at least gives you a chance at a better life. The topic of the show today is the best remote cleaning business courses in 2026. It's an honest breakdown of the top programs. You're about to spend thousands of dollars on a program to start a remote cleaning business. But here's the problem. Most people choosing a program never ask the questions that matter most. And if you're thinking about starting a remote cleaning business, you've probably noticed something. There are a lot of courses now. Some promise automation, some promise AI, some promise a done-for-you business. But here's the problem. Most people shopping for a program ask the wrong questions. They ask, they want to ask, did this person build a real cleaning business? And there are other questions like, are they still running it? Are they proving it publicly with real numbers like I just did? Because a lot of people teach this business today, but very few are still operating one. So today I'm breaking down the most popular remote cleaning business programs in 2026. I'm going to do the pros, the cons, and how to decide which one is actually worth your money. Now, before we go into that, I'm going to bring Gonzi up on stage. Thank you for waiting patiently, Gonzi. Let's go ahead and bring him up, Taj. All right, good to have you.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Excellent.
Good.
I appreciate you taking a little bit of time to come up. I know that you are experiencing a little bit of a surge in growth in your business. Just to give people context, Gonzi is a new remote cleaning business owner. He's in Los Angeles, California, and he most recently called me and said, I am starting to burst at the seams. The demand is very high. He has a lot of customers and he needed help. So most recently we got him a virtual assistant. And Gonzi, I'm curious to hear right off the bat. Let's start by telling people how long you've been in business, and maybe you could share with us a little bit about the revenue so far.
Sure. I've been in business officially about 75 days, but I did start in the second week of December just because I knew there was the holidays. I thought it was not going to be as busy because everybody's going to be busy with Christmas and New Year's. that I decided to use those 2 weeks to kind of just practice and get all the bugs out so that when January 1st hit, I was ready to go. But it was a blessing in disguise because I ended up making money that I did not think I was going to make in those 2 weeks. And it also helped me train, myself in the system that John has incorporated and the process. And also, the customer service end of it too. That's something that you kind of have to learn on the ground. That's not something that anybody could teach. So I do recommend that people, that when you guys do this, that, you take that time to kind of give yourself to teach yourself those things, because those things are going to come with only time. But I officially decided to open my doors to all the products and everything that John had me implement in January 1st. January 1st, the first month, I made about $5,400. February, I made $7,600, and that's when I called John and I was like, "Hey, bro, like I need help. There's too much work that's coming in that I'm leaving out on the table. Too much money because I'm not able to take on because I just don't have the manpower. What do I do?" John and his team kind of helped me, oriented me on the next steps. There is going to be a time, and I promise you guys, anybody that goes through this program, there's going to be a time where you're going to find yourself with the same problem. And the great thing about this program is that they don't just, when you open the doors, leave you and kind of say, "Hey, go on your own." They're with you 24/7, holding your hand. Any problem you have, they are there to help you. Even in the first initial education that John gives you guys in the program, stuff that might not be in there, he will still, when it pops up, he will come and he will explain it to you, and he'll give you his pros and cons about it, and also give you the tools that you need to kind of hurdle over that. And that's exactly what he did. He said, "Hey, you need a helping hand because there's no way you're going to be able to do all this on your own." And he put me through his VA program. We went and he scouted VAs for me. We interviewed them. We were able to find an amazing VA, chose our VA, onboarded her, and she's been on since March 1st. And now I'm projected, because of her, because I wouldn't have done it without her, I'm projected now to make a little bit over $12,000 for this month, which is almost double than last month. And I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought she was just going to come on to help me, relieve me from some of the admin work, you could say. But when you put them on, and the way John trains them, because John does train them, you realize they're not just there for the admin, they're there for sales too. And they're able to take on calls while I'm visiting sites, and which Intel turns into more revenue. They're also able to hire more cleaners, something that's, you guys will understand, that is probably the number one thing that's gonna haunt you guys is keeping cleaners. Number one, because you want to find the right ones for your company, but number two, there's just, the demand is so much more than the time you have to hire a cleaner. I hired 2 cleaners last week, and I'm already booked for the next 2 weeks completely with those 2 cleaners. I have to now hire another 2 cleaners this week so that I can continue to book for this month, or else I'm going to have to tell potential clients I don't have any openings until April, which is not something I want to tell anyone.
Yeah.
So that's my experience so far. And it is at the beginning, I was kind of like, "Hey, how am I going to really make those numbers that John's making or telling you?" But his process literally lays it out for you and makes all that happen.
Appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. That was awesome. That was a really thorough update there, and it was great. And Gonzi, let's talk about, I remember, I'll never forget this, because you had this battle on your hands with the Google Business Profile. When we first started this journey, Gonzi went to apply for his Google Business Profile, and he had made a slight change in his business name. And for, what was it, 2 months?
Yeah.
It was 2 months. He was getting denied for his approval, but we had this talk one day, and he told me how much trouble it was, and how he just couldn't crack the code to get it approved. And when we talked, I said, "Listen, these are the small challenges up front. And we had the same talk about I asked him to take some pictures for his website, and it was hard for him to get his friends or family over to put on the shirts and take the pictures and things like that, because he hadn't hired anybody yet. It was just like really early on when we were just putting his website together. And I explained to him that, look, if you can't figure out how to get your cousin over or your sister over to take some pictures for your website, you're not going to make it. These are the small little things that just get in the way that you got to knock out. And after we had that talk, he just started plowing ahead. It was insane how much growth happened after that and how you just took the reins. But if you could talk about that process a little bit in the very beginning and what it took to understand like what this takes to be a successful entrepreneur and to get a business off the ground.
Yeah, this is obviously my first business. I was a producer before, and so troubleshooting is my strong point. But it was for other people, for another company that was troubleshooting. When it came to my own troubleshooting for my own company, you get really scared, really frustrated at the beginning because you're like, man, I'm investing now. This is my money. I need to get it right the first time. And I was like John said, I was freaking out at the beginning, and we had that talk, and which is another great thing about this program. They don't just send you forms and literature. They actually take the time to sit there and coach you. They coach you one-on-one and kind of bring you down from the ledge. So we had a conversation, and John made me realize, like, hey, this is not going to be your first, and this is not your last. Problem. You need to learn how to be an entrepreneur, and coached me through it, and kind of gave me some tips on how to overcome hurdles. And at that point, kind of made me realize, what it is something I need to take care of on my own. But he also makes it really known that if you even when you try to overcome these hurdles, no matter what, he's still going to be there to help you. He just wants you to kind of like figure it out on your own. And I did. And because of that, my mindset now, every single time I get a hurdle, is first do everything possible to try to figure this out. Not because I don't want to bother John, but because it's training me to be an entrepreneur. It's training me to protect my company. It's training me to learn how to actually give this company a long longevity of life, and also gives me confidence that if I can't figure this out, I know that John is a phone call away or a text message away. When I text him for some problems, which I have, I first let him know, hey, I've done this, I've done that, I've done everything. I can't figure it out. And, two minds are better than one. John always comes up with something different and always jumpstarts my engine, and it gets done, So yeah, it's a great, not only are they helping you build your company from scratch as far as processes and systems, they're also coaching you and teaching you how to be an actual owner of a company. And whether it's just for this cleaning company or whether you stem off to have more companies in the future that kind of tie into your cleaning company, whether it's a trash removal place or a laundromat, whatever, everything you're learning from Rags to Riches is gonna translate into any other investments you ever want to do. So
yeah,
I really appreciate
I'm glad
that.
you brought that up. Yeah, thank you. And that's the thing that what Gonzi just alluded to. It's my best analogy is like being in the gym. If you want to go to the gym one day and try to lift your max weight on the bench press, you're probably going to get hurt. But if you train your muscles over and over and over again consistently, and then after a month or two, you go in and you try to hit that bench, you're going to have a much better chance at success. And the entrepreneurial muscle and muscle memory is the same way. And really, it's especially early on in the beginning when it's your first crack at it, the only way to survive and to succeed is to be a problem solver on the fly and be able to adapt to all the things that you encounter. And obviously having a mentor and a blueprint helps a ton. But like Gonzi said, on the customer service side, you still need to talk to the customers to get used to it. I can prep you and I literally have a section of the training where it says, here are the 16 questions that any customer can ask you. There's nothing else that a customer can ask you. This is it. And I give them all the answers, but they still have to be on the phone and do the reps with the customers to get comfortable at it and to understand the pace, the tone, the delivery, and just how to make people feel comfortable. And so this is great. I think everything you said really hit home and reminded me of all the things that we've been through together on this. And if you could give people thinking about, getting into the business, not the Rags to Riches program, but just in general, what words of advice can you give people? What's the one piece of advice you think would be most valuable for people just starting out?
Just like John said earlier, you have to have a reason to do this. You can't just want to just jump into this to try it out. My piece of advice is just to understand that this is forever, and when you get into this, you have to understand there's going to be lots of pitfalls, but you have to also trust in the system and the processes that Rags to Riches is offering. It would not be here if it didn't work. And I believe John's method of showing you guys and being transparent with all his reports and stuff that he posts online is to show you that it works. You have to have faith that it's going to work, and you have to trust it. And if you trust it and you fall, you know that there's an end goal to everything. It's going to be easier for you to get back up. I've only been in this for about 3 months now, almost 3 months, and I've had lots of falls. But when I get up, it gives me a sense of pride because I know I'm getting up from a fall for something that I'm creating for not only myself, for my family, leaving a legacy, and that's what inspires me. So as long as you guys have that in mind and you guys have those goals and understand that nothing worth having comes easy, then you'll understand that what you're doing is not only to put money in your pockets, but it's to liberate you from your 9 to 5, to liberate you from not being able to see your children, being able to go see them, play soccer and basketball or whatever they do, being able to have more time with your wife or your significant other. Those are honestly the best rewards that can motivate you to continue to keep getting up. And understand that whatever problem you come across, John's program has so many people in it right now. I don't know if he's mentioned to you guys about the cohorts or any of that stuff. Everybody's in it to help each other. Nobody's there to compete against each other. That's another thing. John develops a community of gratefulness. People are grateful they're in this. They're grateful that they're meeting their goals and being liberated from whatever like I said, they need to be liberated from. So they're willing to help each other out. I sometimes don't even ask John or bother him. Literally just drop a message in my cohort and I have 15 answers, within the hour. And that's a great tool to have, and know that you'll never be alone in this. You're going to be alone on your day-to-day, but as far as your problem solving and growing your business, you'll never be alone. And, even if we get the fraction of what John's getting, I guarantee you it's totally worth it. It's something you're building, and it belongs 100% to you.
Awesome. Thank you,
Yeah.
Gonzi. Yeah. You were a terrific guest today. I really appreciate everything that you said and the advice that you gave the audience. I think that it's a very real, vulnerable account of what's going on. And even I remember very early on, Gonzi would sort of open up to the group. We have this weekly coaching call, and he was one of the people that was a little bit more willing to really let people know how he was feeling. And on top of all this, Gonzi's wife just had a baby. So the baby came into this world literally like close to week 1 of him opening his doors, maybe like a few days before. So imagine going through everything he just explained and having a new son come into the world. So Gonzi, I'm grateful that you're in the program. You really contribute a lot to everybody. Everybody loves to hear your updates and see you pop in and out of the Discord server. And thank you for coming on the show. You were fantastic. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me, John.
All right. Sounds good. I'll talk to you. There you go. You hear it from the people, and I think there's no better way to understand how people feel and what they go through, other than to see a real account of that sort of interview. And he's a great guy, as you guys can see. He's really, he's very real. He's always just been that way, and he does open up with the group, and it's interesting to see how he evolved from literally a lot of fear into the confidence that he has now. And when people ask questions in the Discord server, he's jumping in and he's helping others now. And it's really cool to see the transformation. So I feel grateful as always. I know I talk about that a lot, but every person that I can move and help transform, aside from the money, it's meaningful, and it's more fulfilling than anything else in life. And so the more that opportunities I get to do that, the more grateful that I feel too. So thank you, Gansi, for allowing me to mentor you. Let's go back. I'm going to mention, if you want to be a guest of the show, go ahead and DM me on Instagram at John Margalit. You can do that live during the show, and the moderator will send you a link to come on up. We can talk about anything that you want to talk about. I do have a very interesting show for you that I put together. I put a lot of thought and research into today because I wanted to give every creator a fair representation. And I also know some of them, not personally per se, but I've been in tune to their content, and I always like to see what other people are doing. A few years ago, almost nobody was teaching remote cleaning, the business side of it. The opportunity existed, but the education around it was small. But then people started noticing something. Cleaning businesses have low startup costs. They have huge demand, like Hansi was saying. Everybody's problem is they have too many customers at one point near the beginning, and they're scrambling to find cleaners to cover it because they don't want to turn down the jobs. The recurring customers are a huge part of the business model. Therefore, more and more people started to teach the business because of that opportunity. But when an opportunity grows quickly, two types of people show up. First are the operators, people who actually built and run businesses like this. But second, you get marketers, people who discover the opportunity and build a course about it. And that creates confusion because marketing can look quite impressive, but operations are what actually make the business work. So the most important question becomes, who is still in the trenches and running a real business today? So I have 3 questions that everybody should ask before buying any program. And before we talk about specific programs, you need a simple filter. So here are the 3 questions that matter most. Question number 1, did they build a real cleaning business? This should be obvious, but it isn't. When I researched some of the people, I couldn't find anything. Some people selling cleaning business courses have never actually run a cleaning business, or they say that they did it for a month or 2 to test it and see how it was, and then they got a feel for it, and that was enough. And some of them are tremendous marketers. I got to hand it to them. They may be good at building funnels and marketing, but running a cleaning business is different because this business involves hiring cleaners, managing schedules, handling complaints, and keeping clients happy. Therefore, real experience matters. Question number 2, are they still running the business today? And this is even more important, I think, because the market changes constantly. Prices are changing as the world changes, the hiring changes, advertising changes, customer expectations change. And someone who ran a cleaning business, 10 years ago might have useful knowledge, but someone running one today knows what works right now. So the best mentors are current operators, in my opinion. The third question I think everybody should ask is, do they prove it publicly? I can't say it enough. Anyone can say that they built a successful business. Some of the creators say that they built one for their parents or whatever, but real business leaves evidence. Things like Google reviews. I remember one of the girls in our group, Brianna, she sometimes participates in the show. She said, I was checking your Google reviews for Happy Home Helpers, and I noticed that in the last week you had 6 more reviews and you're responding to people, and I know it's real. And I honestly didn't even realize people were doing that sort of investigation. But now that I think about it, it seems pretty elementary if you're doing research on something and you're wondering how real or credible that it is. And so it opened up my eyes, and I started to do that with other creators to see if I could find these clues. And you should be able to find that they're real customers, photos of jobs, revenue screenshots. I show them to you, real operational systems. And so transparency matters. If someone teaches a business but never shows their own, that should probably raise some questions. Now let's break down the 5 major types of programs in this industry. All right. Program number 1, I'm gonna break down like the 5 most popular ones that I've noticed and seen, and people that come to me from these programs a lot of the time because they aren't successful, whether that's the fault of the program or not, I don't know. But when people come to me, sometimes it's alarming. So I'm going to talk about 5 different programs. I would call them the major ones out there that I've seen, and I'll break down the pros and cons. All right. Before I do that, any questions, comments, concerns? I see a note here from Taj. Oh, it was from Gonzi. You're welcome, Gonzi. Thank you for coming on. Anybody have any comments? If you want to be a guest of the show, DM me on Instagram at John Margalit. We'll send you a link. You can come on up. We can't post it because of spammers. And if you haven't liked, followed, and subscribed, please do so now. And please give me a follow on TikTok. All right. I'll go into program number 1. And if you just joined it's up on the screen. The whole topic today is the best remote cleaning business courses in 2026 and a very honest breakdown of the programs. Program number 1 is called Remote Cleaning Academy. All right, so let's start there. And I got to be honest, this program is extremely well marketed. The person behind it is a very successful digital marketer. He won the ClickFunnels 3 Comma Award. I think he generated over $1 million or $5 million bucks through building marketing funnels. So from a marketing perspective, he really knows what he's doing. I attended one of his webinars. He speaks very well. He's obviously educated, polished, and I totally respect, his game. But here's the issue. I could not find proof they actually built and operated a remote cleaning business. And again, I think that matters a little bit because the core of the program revolves around what he's offering is the Go High Level software system. And Go High Level is a strong marketing tool. I use it, but not to run my cleaning business. It wasn't designed to run a home service business. That's why platforms like Jobber, House Call Pro, and more specific ones like ZenMaid that's just for house cleaning exist. These tools were built specifically for service businesses. Therefore, when the system focuses on marketing software instead of operations, students can struggle. There's also another problem. This system requires ongoing tech support, and that's part of the offer. You pay a small monthly fee and you get tech support. But the whole reason to start a cleaning business is that it should be simple. It's a cleaning business. You shouldn't need constant technical help just to run your company. So my honest review is this. Great marketing, but very little operational experience behind it. And honestly, it has a lot of shiny bells and whistles. It shows you really cool reports it generates and automation nurture sequences. And I mean, it sounds great. Like, honestly, if you went to the website, you'd be like, wow, this looks really cool. But I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5 because I don't think there's any real substance behind it. At least I couldn't find it. And when the guy did his webinar, although he was a very, very good presenter, he didn't talk about ever having his own experience in a cleaning business. He just talked about how a cleaning business is such a great opportunity. And I wholeheartedly agree with him. But I'm going to give him a 1 out of 5 for actual substance. And I've had quite a few people come from him, from his teaching and tell me that they weren't successful and have now started with me. And I try to do the best I can to get them on track, even though I feel bad because they're making 2 investments. But that should show you how powerful the system is if you actually learn it correctly. And I've also heard testimonials from people that are doing well in his program. So my honest opinion is a 1 out of 5 stars. I'm going to move on now. Any questions? Aaron, I feel like I know who you're on about. Okay. Maybe that was the right guy. I don't know. I used to live in San Diego. Apparently he lives in San Diego. He's a lot younger than I am. So I don't know if we have mutual friends, but anyway, he sound like a very nice guy. It's not a scam or anything. It's a very real program, but substance, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5. Program number 2, Home Service Academy. Similar name, different. This is Johnny and Sergio. They're young guys. They're very good content creators, and they have a show, the Johnny and Sergio show. Home Service Academy is what they run. Johnny and Sergio built a successful window cleaning business, I think in Orange County. So they understand service businesses, and that's a positive sign. I've seen some of their content, and I forget which guy is which. The guy that's a little bit heavier, he seems to be pretty good. He knows his stuff, and they've definitely operated before. You could tell, and they know their way around, and they definitely have some insight and some things. But there's a complication. Today, they appear to be full-time content creators, which means that they're not deeply involved in daily operations anymore. I don't think they actually have a cleaning business anymore either. Maybe they do, but somebody else runs it. They claim to have built one for, I think it's Johnny's mom. One of their mothers has a cleaning business that they built for her so she could retire on the income, which is a great story. I love it. Hi, Mom. I know you're here. I saw you commented earlier. And that's all fine and well, because strategy and execution are different. Running ads is one thing, but managing cleaners, handling client complaints again, managing the schedules, those are operational details. Someone removed from daily operations may miss the small things that make the business work, especially if they haven't done it in a while. And another issue is the websites, like many students use, the website that they're pushing or representing that their students use is Booking Koala. And if you've ever seen Booking Koala, it looks like a really nifty piece of software. It's a CRM tool like Jobber, but it's got built-in templates for a website. And Jobber also offers a website template, but it's a very basic thing, and it's only for people who just don't really need a website. Maybe they're operating off of an Angie account that's got all their ratings and reviews and things like that, or a Thumbtack account. Jobber's website feature is very weak, but they know it, and that's not what they predicate themselves on. That's not their core competency. But Booking Koala sort of has this messaging that they're a Swiss Army knife of service business operation. The sites look very generic. They look fake because they're just templates. And when a website looks generic and fake, the conversion rate drops like you wouldn't believe. Their websites don't convert. They just don't. They look fine, but they look like every website. There's a human element to them. They're just templates with stock photos. And in my opinion, the conversion elements are weak. There's no conversion psychology built into them. They don't understand how to take a site visitor that's a stranger to your business, a prospective customer who's interested in your service, and converting them to a lead or a paying customer. They just don't understand. If they did, their websites would be built differently. And I have become quite an expert on this, and I can tell. So my honest evaluation: real operators, but disconnected from daily execution. I think one of the guys, he seems to know his stuff. I'm going to give them a 2 out of 5 stars. He could be a 2.5. And out of all the other companies out there, I've had the most people come to me without any results from these guys. So I'm still going to give them a 2 to 2.5 stars. But that's one of the things. A guy came to me a few months ago. I felt terrible. He said he spent 12 grand and he didn't even get one customer. This is a true story. So anyway, that's them. Any questions? I see Aaron says JPS initials. Scott says, seems like the tech is not the hard part of the business. That's exactly right, Scott. You nailed it. That's not the hard part of the business. And then Lindsay says, booking Koala isn't very user-friendly. Yeah, I would never use it. Here's a sort of like a red flag. If you're going to use a piece of software and it claims to do everything, it's probably not doing anything really well. It's just going to give you a little bit of feature set so that you can centralize things on one platform, one app, but you will be limited in what you could do. I don't recommend that. I would recommend using a dedicated CRM system, a dedicated website platform like WordPress is the most powerful, simple thing to use. Even Wix is a great platform with really good pricing. Some people are used to Squarespace. I mean, some of these basic ones and the AI tools on these platforms are really good now. So you can tell it in plain English what you want it to look like, how you want it to feel, and it will build what you tell it to, basically. It's not going to be as powerful and as good as a custom WordPress site, but it could do the job. All right. So moving on now to program number 3 that I'm going to cover. Now, I think this is actually a really good one. I'll admit. Impressive. Cleaning Business Fundamentals. Debbie Sardone or Sardoni. I think it's Sardone. I want to talk about Debbie. Debbie is very respected in the cleaning industry. She's been teaching cleaning businesses for over 20 years. Many successful companies have come through her programs. I know for sure. She's also recommending ZenMaid, which signals strong operational knowledge. But here is let's put it this way. There's a challenge. The market has evolved. Years ago, most cleaning businesses grew through referrals, flyers, networking. But today, we also have digital ads, automation, remote teams. Some people do online booking. Therefore, some of the traditional strategies still work, but newer systems allow businesses to grow faster today. So Debbie's program is excellent for traditional cleaning companies, but it may not focus specifically on the modern remote models. And it's not built for new cleaning business owners. She doesn't teach how to start a cleaning business. She teaches how to grow a cleaning business. But I'm going to give her a 4 out of 5 stars because I've seen her speak. We are both speakers at the Jobber Summit. And I have people that have come to me like Adriano came to me for a VA. I met him in the Jobber Summit at the Jobber Summit. And he went to Debbie Sardone's program and he loved it. And he said that there were a lot of great business owners there. If you attend her, you have to pay an annual fee. But if you go to her event, if you're doing over $1 million, they give you a green jacket like the Masters. And if you do over $2 million, they give you a gold jacket. And overall, I have a lot of respect for Debbie. She's been doing it the longest, and 4 out of 5 stars for her. So if you have a cleaning business and you want to grow it, Debbie seems to be a very good resource. I haven't taken any of her programs personally, but I could just tell she knows her stuff, and people that I respect have been to her events and say very good things about her. So a lot of respect for Debbie, a solid 4 out of 5 stars. Moving on. Program number 4. Now, I couldn't actually put my finger on this one. So I'm just going to say these are the smaller, newer programs out there. There are also like new ones popping up all the time, but I see some out there that I've been seeing for a year or more. Many are run by very young entrepreneurs who recently discovered the opportunity, it seems like. And some of them may have good intentions, but when you're investing thousands of dollars, track record matters. Because running a service business teaches lessons over time, like Gonzi was telling you in his story. You could have hiring problems, customer issues. Of course, you're going to have scaling challenges once you reach a certain revenue inflection point, probably around 25,000 gross, I'm talking about. So experience becomes extremely valuable. And my advice would be, if you really connect with someone and what they're saying really resonates with you and you feel comfortable with them, then maybe give them a shot. I don't want to knock anybody because at one point I was new and Yeah, I wouldn't want anybody to do that to me. So maybe give them a chance. But I think that the other programs that I mentioned, they just have a track record and you can see it. And so even the one that I gave a 1-star review to, they still have positive testimonials from people. So maybe there are people going through the program that are succeeding. All right. And then down to the last one, program number 5. I'll talk about my own for a little bit here, which is Rags to Riches University. Obviously, I'm going to be a little bit biased, but I designed it differently for one reason. I believe if you teach a business, you should show the business. That's why I make my operations public, my revenue, my systems, my processes, everything. I created something very special that nobody else can do. When you join my program, you get what I call an uncensored backstage pass. And what that means is we totally pull back the curtain, and for an entire week, you sit with my team and you see exactly how they run my operation. You're hands-on. We create user accounts for you. You invoice people. Sometimes you even talk to customers. It's very hands-on. It's a fully immersive learning experience. That's just one component, but I honestly don't think anybody else can do that because I don't think they're actually running a multi-million-dollar cleaning business in real time that you could sit in on and watch. And when people have that experience, like Gonzi sat and watched my team do it, the confidence that you build and the realizations that you get and how eye-opening it is and how simple you really see it work, and a system that really works. When you come out of that, the confidence level is just sky high and you know what you're doing. So I think that that's a really important thing. It's not theory. It's not outdated tactics, but actual execution. We also built the program around something unique that I coined the invisible boss model. I want to talk about that for a minute. Most people start a business and accidentally create a job for themselves. Sometimes it's a more stressful job than an actual just a job because they're the business owner and they have to take on all the responsibility. But my goal is different. I build systems so the business truly runs without you doing everything. And that's what really makes the business scalable. So that's really those are the main differentiators. And I'm a real person that is very open about everything. I mean, I just showed you my tax forms and I literally open up my reports every day and just show you how much money we bring in. So with that in mind, I hope you enjoyed that segment and that portion of the show. I see I have a note here. Yep, Taj, we're going to get to that. I have a quote of the day and a video to show you. But what I wanted to do, you know what? All right, let's go there, Taj. Let's do that. He put up the quote. The quote of the day is, in theory, there is no difference between theory and practice. But in practice, there is. That's Yogi Berra, the famous baseball player. I'll say it again. In theory, there is no difference between theory and practice. But in practice, there is. I think that really hits home with today's show because it's 100% true. And for anybody that's ever read a textbook and then gone out and done it in real life, you know how different it is and what the disconnect can be sometimes. Let's go to the clip. I have a good clip for you too. If you could roll that on 3, please, Taj, that would be great.
You don't outwork your competition. You only need to outwork these 3 people to get rich. And the last one is probably not who you think I'm going to say. The first is the past you, the one who stopped in the face of something they didn't want to do. Going to the gym, waking up early, working late. The past you was comfortable. They wanted you to be safe, not successful. You outwork them by doing the hard thing today that they kept putting off yesterday. The second is the person who already has what you want. Don't envy them, study them. See how they think, what they sacrifice, how they execute. Then quietly do 10% more. And the third, the person who's counting on you to quit. The one who said you'll never make it, you're not built for this, it's too risky. You don't argue with them. You just keep showing up until they can't ignore you. You don't need to outwork the world, just those 3. Your past self, your role model, and your downer. Do that long enough, and you won't just get rich, you'll get free. You don't outwork your competition. You
Yeah,
only need to outwork.
I love having Cody on the show. She doesn't know it, but she's on the show. And that's a great piece of advice. I really agree with that. And apparently we have the same role model, Warren Buffett. Really good advice. And I thought that, it was meaningful today to show that clip, to remind everybody that no matter who your mentor is or which program you go with, you still need to work hard. So thank you, Cody, for instilling that insight to our audience today, and for just always making great content. Cody Sanchez is a really good content creator. Obviously, she's a very smart, successful person, and I like to hear what she's thinking. All right, moving on to the big lesson from this entire topic today. I like to end the show. I have sort of like a closing monologue, if you will. But first, I like to do a takeaway and a big lesson. And after looking at all these programs, here's the most important takeaway. Ignore the hype. Ignore the fancy software. Ignore the marketing, and ask yourself 3 questions. Did they build a real verifiable business? Are they still up and running? And are they running it? And are they proving it publicly? Because the truth is simple. There are people selling courses about cleaning businesses, and there are people actually running cleaning businesses. And those two are not the same thing. In closing today, if you're thinking about starting a remote cleaning business, you're looking at one of the best opportunities in the service economy, hands down. Demand never disappears. I'm still amazed at all the people that call us for weird things that have to be cleaned. I say that, I laugh because I've gotten calls from people that just are having big parties and they just don't feel like cleaning up. And I've gotten calls from big retail stores that say that they, have people in the back of the store, in the back of the building, that created a huge mess, that are like living there and doing all these weird things and defecating there, and we have to go clean it up. I know that sounds weird, and most cleaning companies don't do that. I take on all the odd jobs because they pay a lot. So I have no fear, and we suit up if we have to, and do whatever we have to do that pays. But the demand never disappears. Customers always need cleaners. And when the systems are built correctly, the business becomes predictable, recurring revenue. But the mentor you choose matters. Learn from someone who runs the business, shows the business, and proves the business. Because if someone teaches you how to build a cleaning business, but they're not running one today, you're not learning from an operator. You're learning from a marketer. If someone is teaching you how to build a cleaning business, but they stopped running it years ago, ask yourself something simple. Would you learn how to fly a plane from someone who used to be a pilot, or someone who's still flying every day? Exactly. Thanks for joining me. It was a great episode. I'm so grateful that Ganzi came on. If you have any questions or you want to be a guest of the show, please DM me at John Margalit on Instagram. I see John, my biggest super fan. I'm loving the honesty. That's his comment there. Thank you, John. It's Wu-Tang 23361. Wu-Tang. What a great group Wu-Tang was. And I appreciate you. I'm always trying to show up and give you as much value as I can. And I try to be transparent. If you want to know something, please ask, be my guest, come up on stage. I'd love to have you. Send me a message on Instagram. I'm always checking my messages. I respond. I don't care if you can become a client or not. It just doesn't matter. I want to help as many people as I can. And I'm willing to have a discussion, whether it's here on my show or it's in the DMs on Instagram. You can also send me an email, jon@johnmargalit.com. If you want to apply for the 90-day build program that I call the Founder Intensive, just shoot me an email, john@johnmargalit.com. I will reply with an application. If you need a VA for your cleaning business, I have an incredible staffing service where I recruit, hire, and I train a VA for you, and I install them into your business so they're ready to go and perform. And I also build cleaning business websites. Everything is custom, done on WordPress, and these are very methodical, psychological websites that are built to convert cold traffic, strangers, into paying customers. So if you need anything of the sort, You know how to get me. I hope you'll join me tomorrow, and I'll see everybody there. Thanks so much. Have a great evening.